Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Love Brand You on Win Win Women TV. I'm your host, Sam Rafus, and I love talking about metaphysics and spirituality because it teaches people to be inspired about their own spirituality and their awakening evolvement of spirituality. And this just, to me, just means honoring all paths to God, whether you call it spirit, universe, divine source, or higher power. So as we do each week, we start out with our Love Brand You prayer. So if you would like to just take a breath, relax, get settled in your chair, close your eyes if you like, and I will say our Love Brand You prayer. My God source loves me no matter what. I am always lovable and give myself compassion for everything I've done or not done. Love heals me more quickly than self-judgment. I choose love now, for me and for everyone in my life. For this, I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Well, for today's show, I must tell you, I'm excited for many reasons. The number one reason is because of my guest, Vikki MacKinnon, who is a master numerologist, and I adore Vikki. I have known her for many years and had some of my own readings with her for not me, only me personally, and my business, Love Brand You. The second reason that you could maybe guess is my voice is a little bit hoarse today. So I am very grateful that I don't have to do most of the talking and heavy lifting today. So Vikki, I am going to tell everyone about you, and then we are going to get into it. So let me just take a quick drink of water here. Okay. Vikki MacKinnon is an author, an international speaker, a life purpose coach, and a master numerologist. Her mission, passion, and purpose is to help people understand how the energy of numbers affects all areas of life and how we can work proactively with that energy for peace of mind and positive results, especially in our career and our relationships. She has prepared numerology profiles for individual clients across North America and in Britain, Ireland, Norway, Japan, and the Middle East. As founder of the Born to Thrive Numerology course and the Numerology Advanced Numerology Mentorship Program, Vikki has taught and mentored aspiring numerologists in Canada and Japan since 2008. She has been a repeat guest on radio shows and has been interviewed for CBC News World and Ottawa Metro News. Her groundbreaking book, Make Today Count, Take Charge of Your Time and Your Life with Numerology, was released in August of 2017. Welcome, Vikki. I've got so many questions for you. So let's get started and just start out. I know you've written your book, obviously, and you've been on stages speaking for many years about numerology. And viewers always want to know, how did you get your start?
Yeah, well, it's really a very ordinary beginning. You never know when you meet someone, the role that person might play in your life, or the way you might be able to influence them. And the circumstances, as you said, just very ordinary. I had my son enrolled in a group music class, and the parents would wait in the parents' room every week, every Saturday afternoon, and I met this lovely lady named Florence. And you know how it is when you meet with kindred spirits, there's always so much to talk about, and time passes quickly, and you just know right off the bat that this is a kindred spirit. And well, one day Florence wanted to know my birth date, and I was a little bit surprised, and I was even more surprised when she wrote it down, started adding it up. And then she started to tell me all this really interesting information really about me. And I thought this was pretty cool. And she told me she had taken a course in numerology, and I was so intrigued I took the same course. And it called to me in the most profound way, like nothing I'd ever encountered before. And I was amazed that two little facts, your name and your birth date, could open the door to a wealth of information about who we are, who we're becoming, how we're meant to contribute to the world. It just amazed me. And I just need to put that into a bit of context here with some personal information that at the time I was a busy young mom, and I had two children, two beautiful boys at the time, and a full-time demanding career as an elementary school teacher, and an abusive marriage that was pretty much destroying any self-worth that I might have had. I didn't know who I was. I didn't believe that I was worthy of anything better than what was happening in my life. And I basically had no idea that I was supposed to feel happy and fulfilled. And then and worst of all, I didn't believe that I had any gifts to share at all. And I just have to say that, 4 years later and a baby girl later, my marriage finally came off life support, so to speak. And the numbers played an absolutely phenomenal role in my healing and self-empowerment. Very powerful.
Wow. And I've heard your story. I just hadn't heard all of it. And I think it's nice. Well, nice isn't the word. It's empowering, not to overuse that word, but it's empowering when women can hear that, we all come from something that maybe looks tragic or feels tragic, yet there's always a path out. And you and I have talked many times about how numerology was that path for you. So how do you explain numbers? Like, what are numbers?
What are numbers? Well, numbers are older than language. They are spiritual entities, centers of energy, great cosmic forces that can lead us to our highest level of fulfillment and integrity. And they represent many different life lessons, and they represent all the different areas of our life, and they affect us in every part of our lives.
What is numerology? So what's the difference, I guess? What's numbers
yeah,
versus
okay.
numerology?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I meant to tell you too that we work with numbers 1 to 9 and master numbers 11, 22, 33, and so on, multiples of 11, and that no number is inherently good or inherently bad. And so numerology is an ancient science. And as you know, with ancient wisdom, all ancient wisdom has enormous relevance for our very modern lives, right, that we live right now. And it's a study of profound universal truths that help us with our growth and our evolution, help us to understand why we're here and find our best way to share with others and to contribute to this planet and to our human family. And that what else would I say about numerology? That it's also, in practical terms, it's a tool. It's an amazing it's accurate, it's insightful, and so many different applications to help us to understand ourselves and understand our relationships, to understand others around us, and to build positive relationships.
Yeah. And I keep nodding because I'm like, yeah. I can remember last year, it was about this time last year when I came to you and I said, Vikki, I need a reading for me. And you did a reading for me that, you guys, like, I'm looking at you, listeners, viewers, I'm saying when Vikki says numbers are accurate, that's why I'm nodding. I could attest to it, because when you did my reading, and Vikki gives such a thorough report that I'm reading my report, and you had given me a few highlights when we reconnected and you were going over my report, but you gave me the written report and I'm reading through it. And I'm literally thinking, that's me. That's me. Like, how does she know this? And so that's when you're talking about accuracy, it's more than, the proverbial magician or any, when people think, how can that be so? So why do you use the birth date and the name? Like, how does that tell you? Because that's what I found fascinating. Every time you ask me, you're like, okay, I know you're Sam Rafis. However, I need your birth given name and your birth date.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's yeah, you just comment on the accuracy. I've often thought if I had $1 for every time I've heard wow, you know,
Yeah.
I'd be pretty rich today. But anyway, yes, we use both your name and your birth date. Every letter in your name tells a story about you. It's about the qualities that you've brought forward into this lifetime, that you're refining, that you're perfecting, that you're exemplifying for others, sharing with others. And it also tells you about the strengths that sustain you through your life. So your name reveals your destiny, how you can be the highest version of yourself. I consider your destiny to be your key to self-respect. It reveals your soul urge. Your soul urge is your key to peace of mind. How you can honor your soul in everything you do in an ongoing way. How you can benefit from what your soul longs for you to do and have and be in this lifetime. It's a really important thing to know about yourself. It also indicates your values in life. So I like to know, when I'm doing compatibility, I like to know about soul urge of both people, because you can build a lot of bridges across differences in culture and religious background, even language. But it's very hard to build differences if the values are not aligned, or sorry, very, very hard to build bridges if the values are not aligned. So I like to look at the soul urge. It's, by the way, it comes from the vowels in your full name at birth. I look at it, tells us, your name tells us about your persona, the impression you make on others. And it is also, the other interesting thing about your persona is how you can best replenish your life force energy. So I consider it to be your key to life force energy. It will tell us about your karmic lessons. We'll take a look at the name you're going by now, and look at name Sam. Well, that's your here and now energy, every day on an ongoing basis. That's how you interact with the world around you and with others. And that plays an important role in your life as well. We look at first, middle, and last names. There's numerous calculations that I do from your name, but to put it concisely, your name connects you with your soul's ongoing journey through many different lifetimes. And your birth date, well, that connects you with this lifetime. I see someone from New Zealand is connecting. That's very exciting. Hi, Louise. Sorry, I just had to say that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I said this is your show, Vikki.
ADD kicking in here, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so it connects you with your soul's ongoing journey through many different lifetimes. And your birth date is about this lifetime, this journey that began on September 15th, 1952, or August 20th, 1978, or whatever day you arrived on the planet. That your birth date is about this journey, this lifetime, the twists and turns, the ups and downs, the setbacks and the breakthroughs, the opportunities, the nature of opportunities and accomplishments and lessons that you're meant to learn along the way. So what I often say is, your name is about what you bring to life. Your birth date is more about what life brings to you.
Okay. I checked back in some of the information that you wrote in my report, and I have a life path of number 1. What's the significance of the life path? And I know I'm probably asking you something else that you're maybe weren't wanting to answer,
no.
but I the life path is really
Oh,
is interesting to me.
oh, sure. Oh, that's powerful. And very often people will say to me, oh yeah, I did that online numerology. I've done it online and I'm a 5 or something, you know. They're maybe not aware that we all have several different numbers and several
Yeah.
different centers of energy in our profile. So what I always say is your life path is about the experiences that you were meant to have in this life, in this particular journey. It is set at birth. It can never be changed. And so we consider it to be a core number. It will very often tell us about the nature of the work that you will want to do, you know, throughout your productive years of life. It will very often, if it doesn't tell us about the exact vocation, it will often tell us about your approach to your work. And the other thing about the life path is it will tell us about the lifestyle that you're most likely to embrace. You know, one of the most fun things that I ever did with numerology was I was asked by a co-op Wines and Spirits to come and do a wine tasting night and pairing numbers with wine. And I thought, well, you know what, I can put numbers together with anything, but I really don't know much about wine. So I told, I did the life paths. We did around the room readings of people's life paths. And the sommelier who was doing the wine portion of it, he matched those life paths every bit with it was just beautiful the way he matched them, you know. I wouldn't have known that, but he had a perfect wine for every single life path and telling the background of the wine, the nature of the wine and that kind of thing. Because what I had done was I had done like how, you know, your approach to your lifestyle, what you're likely to enjoy in life and embrace in this lifetime. The other thing about a life path is it tells us about the finest way for you to contribute to the world. So, you know, the finest way for how you were meant to contribute. And that's huge to me. Like,
Yeah.
what can we share with others and how can we contribute to others? It's just huge.
And every time you're talking, I'm nodding. I'm just saying to everyone here in the audience that I'm nodding because everything that you said, you would write something and I would think, yeah, you know. So when we were talking about in my report about my life path, and I think you had mentioned something about, you know, freedom is one of your most important values, and then later on you paired it with, there was something for the number 5 I had. And
Yeah.
viewers, my report is pages and pages. Like, Vikki, you do such a thorough job, and as I was reading it, I just remember that number 5 also has to do with freedom. What was that compared to the life path? Or am I taking you on a tangent again?
You know, I don't have your profile sheet in front of me, Sam. So is your birthday in May?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's a 5.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Okay, I won't get you on a tangent, because I think people will be more interested in what else you've got to say, not necessarily just about my profile. I'm just so excited about it because I think you're so bang on. So we talked about life path. What are temporary numbers then?
Okay, so we think of I talk all the time about cycles within cycles. So we think of I think of the life path as being, you know, obviously your life cycle from birth to transition. Within that, we have 3 major cycles: youth, power and productivity, wisdom, and harvest. So those are cycles within your cycle. And then the one thing that I like to share with everybody when I'm speaking, you know, and being interviewed, is that all of our lives we live and learn and grow in cycles of 9. And so I'm referring to the cycles of your personal year. So all of your life, you are somewhere in that cycle of 9 with your personal year. You'll have a 1 personal year, a 2 personal year, and so on. Sometimes that 2 will turn out to be an 11 instead of a 2. whatever, then it will go to 3 and so on. You get to the end of your 9-year cycle and you go back to a 1 again. That does not mean, oh, I'm back where I started. What it is it's more like we are like on a circular path around a mountain. We keep coming back to the same side of the mountain, but we're always going to be higher up, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. And so knowing your personal year is hugely important to me, because personal year number can tell you what's best to focus on this year. You might be thinking, oh, gee, I really want to go back to school. It's time for me to take this university course that I've really been putting off and that kind of thing. Is this the right time for it? And knowing your personal year, maybe it's a 1 year, which would say, hey, it's time for a new beginning. Maybe it's a 7 personal year, which would be a time for studying and that kind of thing. And then you know that you have a lot of support. The universe is really clearing the way for you. So you're finding your path of least resistance there, you know, whereas it might be that if you were to try and take a university course that you'd been wanting to do for a while, when you were going into a 5 personal year, something might change about that, and you might not be able to continue and see it through. Or in a 6 personal year, there might be family situations that would demand your attention and your time and energy and keep you from doing the best that you want to do with it and that kind of thing. So knowing the number of your personal year, is this a good year to go to university? Is this a good year to put my house on the market? Is this a year I'm likely to meet somebody new and find the love of my life? Or is this a good year for me to open a new business? Anything like that. It can just be so helpful. It can also help you. Like, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen people relax and feel more at peace with what's going on in their life once I tell them about the function of the numbers, about the nature of the numbers and the cycle of 9 and where they are in their cycle. It can help you to see that this is something temporary. This, if you're going through it, you're going through it. It's not, you're not stuck there unless you choose to be, and so it can help to explain why, you're dealing with certain financial problems perhaps for this particular period, or certain relationship problems, or why this opportunity has just landed in your lap, and is this the right time to pursue it,
And I just keep nodding, because when you said it just gives you peace of mind, I think you were reading my mind, because last year, when it was around this time when we did our sessions together, and this is when I was, because Love Brand You, which was the podcast before, and I think I had mentioned it on the show before, I had some ideas in my mind what I was going to do to, quote, resurrect the brand of Love Brand You. And I remember talking with you and saying, you know what, I'm feeling uneasy. I'm feeling out of sorts. And this usually isn't me. I normally can pray and meditate on it, and the answers come to me. But I felt like I was more in a sense of struggle last year. And as I did my reading with you, and as you shared the information with me, it just put everything into perspective. Because at the time last year where I was at, I think I was still in a 4. And you were saying, if things don't seem like they're moving, or you need to wait, like you explained it so beautifully. And it did give me that extra sense of peace that I could say, okay, yeah, I can slow down here and not push it.
Yeah. And that's very much what 4 is all about. It's about allowing the processes to take place in their own time, and it's their step-by-step incremental goals, and holding the faith there. And as I recall, I think there was a 13 with your 4, wasn't there?
Yeah, 13, 4.
Oh, yeah, 13, 4. Yeah, that's a little bit different too. Yeah.
It's just all so powerful. Oh my goodness. Vikki, we only have a few minutes. Okay. What's the meaning of repeating numbers?
The meaning of repeating numbers. Well, I think it's very important to understand that numbers are messages. You know, when we're seeing messages from the universe, that's one of the ways that spirit connects with us and communicates with us is through repeating numbers. They will either validate what a decision that we've made and an action that we've taken, or they will kind of give us a nudge that it's time to move forward on this decision, or it's time for it to make a change. I'm not a big fan of, like, I see very often angel numbers written, and I think they're very nice sentiments and that sort of thing. But I think really for a meaning of repeating numbers, it always it's important to put it into context with what's happening in your life right now. Where are you going in your life? What are your hopes and dreams? And when are you seeing this number? Are you seeing it when you're out driving? Are you seeing it when you happen to be thinking about something and this number pops up? Or is it something that's coming along, when you've just met with someone and had a really wonderful time or something? Then it might be a validation as well. So it's either a validation or an urge to change and take action, and it's like 1 would be new beginnings, 2, partnership and intuition, 3, creativity and self-expression, 4, get to work, and be patient, and 5, take a chance, adventure. 6 is people that are depending on you, focus on your home and family and community. 7, connect with spirit and intuition. 8, pay attention to your finances. 9, something's coming to an ending. That's just, and those are just little words to sort of pin onto with those numbers, but there's so much more to it than that. We'd have to look at it within the context of what's going on in your life. Yeah.
For me, because I love repeating numbers. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And when my daughters and I are out driving, or I'm driving with them, and just this week I was driving with my daughter and my grandson, and I'm like, oh, look at that. And my daughter, of course, your kids are, she's like, what, Mom? And I said, look at that, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And she said, okay, it's kind of like, all right. And I said, no, it's a good thing. So for me, it's just validation and fun that whatever I'm doing. And I was feeling good. I was with my family. So, but my girls like to laugh at me, but I love the repeating numbers.
Oh yeah. And I love seeing 3s. 3 is the number of the inner child. It's a playful number. And you were out with your daughter and your grandson too. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Again, validation.
Yeah.
Okay, Vikki, we are down to our last couple minutes here. So how can people get a hold of you? How would you like them to get a hold of you? And show your book, viewers. I had Vikki's first copy. Please take a number. And I have her signed copy, so I'm keeping this. But what's your new? I
changed the title, and I changed, and I just added a couple of more, a few more bits of information in this one.
Nice. Okay.
Take charge of your time in your life with numerology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you want people to find?
Okay. My website, I'm sorry, my website actually is no longer. That's a long story, but I do have a Facebook page, and basically my only platform right now is my Facebook page, Know Your Numbers. And if you look on my Facebook page, especially if you're having a birthday, I always have a birthday forecast on there for everybody every day. And Know Your Numbers on Facebook. And if you want to get in touch with me through that, and if you want to order a book and that kind of thing, just send me a message there.
Wonderful. And I will have it on lovebrandyou.com.
Yeah.
As always, you can go there and click on the show tab, and all the information will be there. Right. So as we do each week, Vikki, I'm at our closing prayer. So I'm going to do that. And thank you for being here so much, Vikki. I've so appreciated it.
My pleasure. It goes quickly.
I know. All right. If you just want to take a breath. divine source of God dwelling within. I am so happy and grateful to have this conversation with Vikki and learn more about how numerology can help us grow in our faith. I recognize the universality of your expression and the multitude of ways through which numbers can inspire greater good to enter our lives. For this realization, I give thanks, and so it is.